like we're back to Batman committing police brutality. Episode 7 easily has the closest parallels to today's society, maybe a little triggering for some people. Spoilers if you haven't watched episode 7 of Batman Cape Crusader. Barbara is really for the people, even more than Jim Gordon. My mom is also in law enforcement, and sometimes I have the same exact conversation because even the cleanest, best cops become cynical when it comes to dealing with criminals. And interacting with these type of people sometimes taints their perspective. But they both want the same thing, and it's clear. Barbara understands the complexities that come with living in Gotham. Jim is just trying his best to keep the streets safe. One thing that did surprise me about Jim's perspective is the fact that he was willing to say that cops can make mistakes, not give that same grace to the criminals. He knows that it's only circumstance and a badge that really separates the GCPD from the criminals. He knows how dirty the cops are in his division. He's been fighting it for a while. Honestly, on the nose for someone who works in law enforcement. I don't know why this hit surprised me so much. I didn't peep until my second watch that they hint that this man is actually dirty. He is the one to shoot this hitman, but it doesn't seem significant because Renee also has her gun out. This is the first time that I kind of understood where Flass was coming from. On one hand, he's right. You can't just go around shooting cops because the GCPD is a gang and somebody just went on their turf and tried to take out their leader. On the other hand, as a citizen, I know that what this task force will lead to, which is a bunch of innocent people dying and getting hurt while they search for this hitman. We know that these cops are incompetent. Look at their face when Jim was like, we need to do this a clean way. Flash was like, sure, I'm about to be on these streets tonight. Bullet's just like, this is not gonna go well for us. Then they cut to Batman already committing acts of police brutality on their behalf. Oh, this whole club, everybody's on the floor. And he got my man yoked over here. His feet is dangling. Can we take a moment to applaud the diversity in the characters that we've seen all season? Just in race, but in size and features. Like all of these men have on the same exact outfit and they all look different. They're all different shades. They have different noses. Like this is a big deal. You ever seen the animated Long Halloween? There's like 5 characters, main characters that are really hard to decipher who's who. Bruce and Harvey Dent and I think Jim Gordon, they all look exactly the same. And they're wearing different fits, but I couldn't tell who was who. Versus here, like all of these men are the same, no name, just hitmen. They all look different. This guy got this little mustache. This guy's nose is different. This guy is like a model on his side time. There's multiple black men and they're all different shades. Like, give them their propers. I love the Long Halloween. This is not me trying to trash him. I'm just talking about character design. Thank you. Villain of this episode is called Onomatopoeia. He was actually created by Kevin Smith. This is the second time in a row that I brought him up. He's a serial killer and it's actually a really dark comic book, but he makes the sounds that he hears around him all the time. And if you notice when he's fighting Batman, he's like saying whoosh, slap, things like that, which is a play on actually reading a comic book, right? This is the type of whimsical thing that a lot of directors don't get when they are translating Batman to like live action. Batman itself is a very dark comic, but there are whimsical, campy elements of it. And Onomatopoeia is a perfect example. Even the name I think is ridiculous. I always think of Hey Arnold. Barbara is MVP. Somebody asked me to cosplay her for New York Comic Con and I think I am. She knows that appealing to Jim means that she has to talk about the civilians and not his own safety. Because he is dying to be the martyr. And she's right. He's trying to be big, strong man. I'm gonna stay home. But that puts everyone else in his neighborhood at risk. And he's not considering that. Sometimes being the hero is knowing when you need to leave. This conversation that Barbara had with Renee made me really uncomfortable. And maybe it hit me a little close to home because I am also from New York and I went to Catholic school, all that jazz. But there's this thing between people who are in very similar situations where the person who's just a little less privileged wants to point out the other person's privileges. They're on the same team. Renee, what are you talking about? Why are we commencing in the struggle Olympics? When you only focus on money or like housing circumstances, you just tend to ignore other privileges that you may have. In this case, I'm not quite sure how race plays into this world. Let's apply this to real world circumstances. Renee, as a light-skinned Latina, will have different privileges than Barbara, who is a black woman. To call Barbara a princess when she is fighting every day to help Gotham, not clean up Gotham, but to help the people of Gotham, It got me a little tight. But once again, I may be triggered, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I had to rewatch this fight scene between them a couple times because they did this big buildup of these hitmen being the best of the best, and they were pretty easy to take out. Then I looked again and I realized that Batman took out most of them before they got to the house. And then when they did get in, it was only 2 of them, and Barbara had the drop on them. I got hands. I gotta give her a little bit more credit. I don't know why this twist surprised me so much, but a common theme with a lot of these criminals is that they have no choice. They need to do this. This man in particular was talking about, oh, the bounty is too high. I couldn't resist. Like, it was just this one time that he decided to do it. And in reality, I think he was ready to do that hit before it was doubled. Beginning of the episode, he kills this man, and I don't think it's so he could protect Barbara. I think he did it because he wanted to do that hit himself. It was tragic to hear that the hit was actually on Barbara. We've seen this entire season that she is the one person fighting for the people who are being convicted by this corrupt system. And this is why people of Gotham can't have nothing nice. Shame on those people of Blackgate for listening, because everyone should know that Barbara be going to the bat for them every time. The opposite of Harvey Dent, and we've been seeing that, and the criminals have been seeing that. I call them criminals because they went to kill my girl. And not put this hit on Harvey or whatever prosecutor sent him to Blackwater. Acted like he didn't do the crime at all. He's mad that he don't like the criminals around him. Get over yourself. Like, it just got me so tight. I definitely enjoyed this episode, but not as much as I did the other. I personally felt like this is one of the weaker villains that we've seen, but I still thoroughly enjoyed this episode. The 5 Flames streak is finally broke. 4 out of 5 Frankie Flames. Once again, please do not spoil future episodes in the comments. I am going as fast as I can here, I promise you, but I watched these episodes multiple times so that I can get these reviews out. So if you could just put in your thoughts for episode 7s in the comments below. And be sure to follow me so you can get more reviews like this. I'm almost done, but there's so much more I have. See you for episode 8.